Make or break, all or nothing. Manchester United play Bayern Munich tomorrow night in the Champions League, and if Manchester United don't win, we're out of Europe completely, because Galatasaray and Copenhagen do play each other as well, and hopefully they draw and Man United beats Bayern Munich. Mathematically, we can still progress through the Champions League, but it's a very, very slim chance. But before we get into today's video, please make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe if you are new. It costs absolutely nothing, it's free, and for the quality of content we produce, we just want to get there to that 1,000 subscriber milestone. But anyway, please subscribe if you are new, and let's continue talking about Manchester United. But anyway, we play Bayern Munich tomorrow, and it's going to be a very, very tough game. They'll be up for it, because over weekend they got absolutely spanked 5-1 off Frankfurt, and no doubt they'll want to complete the Champions League group stage with a high tally amount of points. I think the max that they can get now is 17 points, because they drew with Copenhagen last week or the week before, whenever it was. So they will be up for it, especially with the loss they've recently received to Frankfurt. But United, after our pounding from Bournemouth as well, hopefully we'll be up for it as well. And Manchester United and Erik Ten Hag need to find the priority, and we need to pick the strongest 11 possible. And we've had massive, massive news today that Casemiro is back in training now. That I thought it was supposed to be out until New Year, but hopefully Christmas has come early. I'm not too sure, but Casemiro being back in training is massive. Now, I don't know if he's available for this game, but hopefully he could provide some sort of impact, because Casemiro is vital to this team. We saw it last season. This season he hasn't been the best. You know, he's been a bit shaky, but I feel like with the long rest that he's had, he's back from injury. Hopefully his sharpness will improve as he gets better with more games and more game time. But Casemiro will offer us so much in that midfield, because we're getting absolutely spanked in the midfield recently. And hopefully we can go back to the midfield we had in pre-season, which looked very, very dangerous, of Casemiro, Kobbie Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes, because that midfield three looked very, very balanced, and we spanked Arsenal and a few other teams in pre-season. But Bayern Munich are no pushovers. We learned this when we went to Germany and faced Bayern Munich. We lost 4-3. You know, we did score a few goals against them. We scored the 3 goals, but they absolutely tore us apart. They didn't get out of second gear, and they went for us. They went for our throats in that first game in the Champions League. But Thomas Tuchel seems to be getting a lot of criticism from ex-clubs that he's recently managed, like Chelsea fans and Bayern Munich fans. Some of them are starting to turn on him, and I'm not sure why. Maybe because Bayern Munich pretty much win the Bundesliga every single season. You know, you've got Xabi Alonso's Bayern Leverkusen. You've obviously got Dortmund as well with their rising team. It's not an easy street for Thomas Tuchel at Bayern at the moment, and Bayern Munich fans are demanding him to improve what they're currently doing. They've got the best striker in the world in Harry Kane. They've got an amazing team around them, and they should be favourites to be winning this competition. But hopefully they come to Old Trafford. You know, some of the players do feel a bit of the pressure, and United can get the win over a line. I'm going to go for a 1-0 victory. I might be completely wrong, but I just feel like it'll be a game that's it's going to have its chances, but nothing's going to be massively capitalising. So I'll say probably a 1-0 victory for United. That's me being optimistic, though. If I was using my head, I'd probably say we lose 2-1. That's what I would say, because I don't feel like Bayern Munich are going to want to embarrass us like they did in Germany. They'll probably just want to try and keep it solid at the back and try and push us up the field, because United do struggle by performing a low block and playing against a low block. But, you know, I'd say who's the key player in this game? Definitely Harry Kane or Jamal Musiala. Harry Kane, though, is definitely the one we have to look out for, because Harry Maguire, you know, with our defensive issues at the moment, Harry Maguire is performing absolutely brilliantly, but he needs a partner in crime. He needs someone who's solid at the back, and if Erik Ten Hag does play Lindelof, we're going to get absolutely torn apart. So maybe he'll play Luke Shaw, but I'd much rather have Luke Shaw back in his left-back position. I feel like Erik Ten Hag just needs to play Raphael Varane at this point, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. So if it was me, I would be choosing Maguire and Varane, but I don't feel like Erik Ten Hag will. Erik Ten Hag will probably go with Lindelof, but who knows? Something might change about the Varane situation. But yes, with this whole game that's coming up, you know, if we do lose, then I'm glad we do, because I don't want to be in Europa League. I'd rather us progress into the Champions League, which we don't really deserve, because in Champions League we've been absolutely atrocious. But as well, I'd want to what I see my team in the Champions League. It's the biggest competition in football. You know, when it comes to the European nights, it's a brilliant competition to be in for your football club. But do we deserve it? I don't think so, because we took the likes of Galatasaray for granted. We took the likes of Copenhagen when we underrated them. And at the end of the day, we got punished for it. So now we're having to rely on Galatasaray and Copenhagen to draw and us to win to actually progress into the Champions League. I've got a feeling, now, if you ask me, there's the three possible outcomes. United progress through the Champions League, we go into the Europa League, or we're not in Europe at all. I'm thinking the Europa League option, because I feel like we'll want to beat Bayern Munich that badly to stay in Europe. We will do, and we'll beat them. That's what I think. You know, I said in my head it'll be 2-1 Bayern Munich because I just know the amount of quality they've got in their squad. But it's at Old Trafford. We've got the home advantage, and Erik Ten Hag would have probably rifled his players over weekend for the Saturday performance we had against Bournemouth. So, in conclusion, I feel like Galatasaray will go to Copenhagen and they'll beat Copenhagen because they will want to progress in the Champions League. They're a very solid team and they've took their opportunities and they deserve to progress through. But Copenhagen, we learnt it as well. Don't underestimate them. They beat us 4-3 themselves and they do know how to score goals. And it is at Copenhagen, so they will also have home advantage. That's why I feel like a draw is on the occasion here. But if I'm using what I believe in, I feel like United will win. We'll drop down to the Europa League. That's what I think is going to happen. But it's all or nothing. If we don't, we need to win. And Erik Ten Hag needs to go for his strongest 11. So Rasmus Højlund definitely needs to start. No Martial, BS. You know, Garnacho, Palestri or Antony. The forwards need to be direct and the forwards need to be not selfish. You know, Garnacho in his last few performances, since he scored that bicycle kick, he's been very, very selfish. He hardly passes to his teammates at the moment, especially when in the box. And this is why Højlund isn't getting any service, and this is why he's also not scoring in the Premier League. He's joint top scorer in the Champions League, and rightly so, because of the amount of space he gets. And he does know how to find the back of the net. We've seen that in the Champions League. He's got 5 goals so far. But, and I say but, he needs the service. Bruno Fernandes needs to play. And I was thinking this. Should Bruno Fernandes play? I'm not too sure because he is suspended against Liverpool. So would you rather get a team ready for Liverpool at the weekend? I'm not too sure. But Bruno is massive in a game like this, so I definitely think he will play. Will Casemiro play? I'm not too sure. I'd like to see him play. Maybe with McTominay or Amrabat, but I don't think Ten Hag will risk it because we saw it with Luke Shaw when Luke Shaw came back from injury, that Erik Ten Hag gradually brought him back into the team and now he's back starting as our starting left back or left centre back. But it's hard to predict what team's going to be, but Onana cannot mess up in this game because, you know, in the Copenhagen game, he got a bit of blame and it's kind of come to bite us in the backside, in my opinion. So, especially with Galatasaray as well. You know, he's had his moments and people blame Onana for us being in the position that he is because some of the mistakes he's made, you know, Bayern Munich in Germany, Galatasaray, with the Ziyech free kicks. Onana's made quite a few blunders so far in the Champions League. So, you know, if we don't progress, maybe a few people will be pointing fingers at Onana, but it is a team game. We shouldn't be pointing out individuals. We need to be working as a team and progressing into the Champions League because I think we've got the quality to do so. And hopefully Bayern Munich, they're already qualified, so maybe they could be a bit lenient on us because it would be nice if we did beat Bayern Munich. It would be a very nice celebration type video we could make. But anyway, thank you for watching. Please leave a like on the video, subscribe if you are new. And anyway, thank you for watching. Get your comments in down below on what you think of the upcoming game against Bayern Munich. Thank you.